Welcome to another video. I'm here with my puppy who currently wants attention, so I will be petting her while I do this intro. In today's video, I'll be reading the TBR that my boyfriend picked for me to read, and you guys are the only people I can talk about it with because he can't know my thoughts and opinions because at the end of the month, in another video, he is going to guess my ratings and reviews for the books he picked. Did you find something else to chew on? It's a part of the remote that I found her chewing on because I brushed my teeth for 2 minutes and left her alone. The joys of having a puppy. So yeah, I actually started reading the book almost a week ago. Today is Thursday, January 29th. I did start the TBR in January because I would like to get through the entire thing this year. And I know that 4 books does not sound like a lot, which by the way, you can go watch the video if you want to see his reasonings for why he picked all the books. 4 books doesn't sound like a lot to read in a month, but I just haven't been reading very much, and one of the books he picked is literally massive. So, yeah. I started reading that one, actually. I can hold it up now. I started reading this one on Sunday, and yeah. So, I'm really, really enjoying it, and I hate that he is right, because this is a series that he started reading a few years ago, and he's read, I think, like 8 of them. And he really wants me to read it. He wants me to watch the show with him, which we're just terrible at watching TV. We watched half of the first episode, which is what we do with a lot of shows. Like, we like them and we want to watch them and we just don't. But yeah, so this is the one I started with on the TBR. Did you find more remote? Hi, yes, I do love you. This book is what I started with. It is the first in the Expanse series. It's called Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. But this is basically a sci-fi thriller. And I think I am discovering that I like sci-fi if it's set in space because one of my favorite authors is Andy Weir, which I discovered 2 years ago doing this video because my boyfriend got me to read The Martian, and then I later read Project Hail Mary. Last year I read Andy Weir's sci-fi thriller, Artemis, and I did not like it. But yeah, this is set in space. Trying to figure out what I can say about it. Okay, so yeah, so this book is a sci-fi thriller set in space, basically in this world, like Mars and the moon and the asteroid belt and whatever has been colonized. And it follows 2 points of view. One of them is Jim Holden, and he is the XO. I don't really know what that is, but from what I'm gathering, it's the person below the captain. So he's the XO of an ice miner, and they stumble across a abandoned ship called Scopely. I don't actually know how to say it. Scopuli. And it has this secret in it that people, you know, it causes a war, this secret. Like, people are going to kill over it. And him and his crew are, like, now surrounded by the secret. They're part of it. And, they're like fleeing for their lives. And the other point of view is a detective. His last name's Miller. Does it have? I don't know if they ever give us his first name. Because I don't think Miller's his first name. Anyway, Detective Miller is looking for this girl who was on the Scopely, I don't know. It's sci-fi. But she comes like from a rich family, and so they're paying a detective to look for her. And so he is, you know, crossing paths with Holden. And yeah, everyone's just trying to figure out what's going on with that ship. What's the secret? There's like a war breaking out. And I'm really, really enjoying it. Actually, I'm more than half. I'm on page 311 out of like 560. And yeah, it's a huge book. Like, I feel like I've been reading a lot and I'm still only halfway through it. I have been able to work from home this week because I live in Virginia. And we got this, not the worst snowstorm we've ever gotten, but we got snow and then freezing rain that made it ice. And then it hasn't been above freezing all week. And that is kind of rare for Virginia. Usually our snow like melts within a couple days, but there are full-on like neighborhoods and like back roads that are straight ice, like people are ice skating. So yeah, I'm lucky enough that I can work from home, so I do not have to go out in this. So I've been working from home this week, so I have been like able to read on my lunch breaks, and then when I'm done working, I'm already at home. So I've been having a little bit more free time to be able to read. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this book. And I hate that my boyfriend's right. And I also hate that I cannot talk to him about it, but he can probably guess I'm liking it at the speed I'm reading it because I usually get tired and just give up on reading. Yeah, anyway, really enjoying this book. And I have a little bit of time before I have to start work today, so I am going to read some right now. Because I just think about this book all day. Like, I do not want to work, I just want to read this book. And yeah, he's gotten me into this giant series that I want to keep reading, but it's so long and large, and I don't know what to do. I do think when he was reading this series, he told me there was a romance plot, and I think it's starting. Hello, I just woke up. Prim is still getting her morning cuddles right now. It is Sunday, February 1st, so I've been reading this book for a week now, and the last time I updated you was like 3 days ago. I have about 100 pages left, and basically the like big thing we were leading up to happened, and it was a little bit anticlimactic, but in a way where I was like, this isn't everything. But yeah, it was like anticlimactic in the way that I'm like, what else is gonna happen? And then nothing else happened. And so now I'm just like, there's 100 pages left. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop because there has to be more. Like, it wasn't just what happened. If that makes sense. So I'm hoping I can finish this morning if Prim cooperates. She's being a bad little lady this morning, like usual. But, you know, that's just the life of a puppy. Oh no. And then my cats are fighting too. The joys of having pets. Okay, so I finished Leviathan Wakes last night. Thank you, Prim. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I love you. Thank you. And Prim is the most cuddly in the morning. That's what this is. Yeah, so I finished Yep, thank you. I finished Leviathan Wakes last night. Oh, that's a nibble. We don't nibble. And thank you. No nibbling. I really, really liked it. I thought it was going to end on like a big cliffhanger, like knowing it's this like really long series because it's 6 original books and then 3 like sequel series type thing and they're short stories. And it didn't really end on much of a cliffhanger. Like I can see where like more story would go, but it's not like there's like a major cliffhanger that I'm like dying to know more about. And it's probably because maybe they didn't know they would get more books, so maybe that was why. I don't know. But I really, really enjoyed this book. I haven't figured out a rating yet because I like really loved it and I thought about reading it like all day, every day. It's like this is all I wanted to do. But I don't think it gave me a 5-star feeling. So I'm thinking 4.5, maybe. But yeah, I am very proud of myself for reading this chunky book. Because not only is it like 560 something pages, it's like a tall book. So that is a lot of book. So the first one for this reading vlog is finished. And the one I'm going to read next is Matthew Perry's memoir, which I have a physical copy of, but it was available from the library. So I am going to be reading it on my Kindle. And I started it earlier this week. So if you don't know, Matthew Perry was an actor known for being on the TV show Friends. And basically he wrote this memoir talking about his struggle with drugs and depression. And this book came out about a year before he died. And I've just been putting off reading it because I just think it'll be really sad. And I literally only read the foreword, which is by Lisa Kudrow, another actress from the show. And I read like a couple paragraphs of the prologue, and it's really just like, I'll read a little bit for you. The last 2 sentences, 3, however many sentences of the foreword. He has survived impossible odds, but I had no idea how many times he almost didn't make it. I'm glad you're here, Maddie. Good for you. I love you. Okay, so then the prologue starts. So this is like Matthew reading it, right? Hi, my name is Matthew. Although you may know me by another name, my friends call me Maddie, and I should be dead. And then the next sentence, if you like, you can consider what you're about to read to be a message from the beyond, my beyond. And it's just crazy reading it knowing he is dead now. Like, it's almost like he predicted it. And like, maybe in a way he did. Like, I don't know everything he went through because I haven't read the book yet. I've just heard like a couple things about it, but like maybe he like knew that he was never gonna have a full life, you know? So like, I don't know. I think this is gonna be a really emotional read, but I feel like I owe it to him, having Friends be one of my favorite shows my entire life. Like, I started watching that show, you know, on cable and reruns when I was a kid with my parents. And I've always really loved Chandler. So I feel like I kind of owe it to Matthew Perry to read his story, to know what he was going through, to give us that character. It's just gonna be painful. But I'm gonna do it. Hello, it has been a few days, but I'm here with an update. Prim is here chewing on a pizza toy. So sorry for the sounds you're gonna hear. Or ripping sounds, because that's how she is. Anyway, I have some updates. So I think on Monday was the last time I updated this vlog. It is now Friday. I had said that I was reading Matthew Perry's memoir on my Kindle. And I read 10% on my Kindle, and then I decided I wanted to listen to some of it to like hear his voice tell his story. And then I listened to the rest of it as an audiobook, and I finished it yesterday at work. It was really emotional reading that book. He really went through so much with his addiction. He tried so many times to get clean, and he would just end up right back where he was. And it wasn't like he wasn't trying, you know, like he was in therapy for like, I think over half his life he was in therapy. He went to rehab, like, it was a crazy amount of times. I think it was like 50 times or something. Like, he tried again and again and again to quit. And it was just, I'd be listening and then all of a sudden I'd be like, he's dead now. And it was just so crazy. And it just ended on such like a hopeful spot. Like, he was just, at the end of the book, he was clean at that time. And he was just so hopeful for his future. And to know that he died less than a year after that book was published is just so heartbreaking. And I don't know, I just wonder what happened in that year. Because, I mean, we all know he died because of an overdose, you know. And I'm just, like, wondering how he got back to that point when he seemed like he was doing so well at the end. And it's just so sad because he was just so hopeful. He was so hopeful for his future. And it was just really heartbreaking to read that book, especially, like, the ending, knowing his ending. And yeah, it is definitely a rough read, and depending on what you're going through, it could be very triggering. He obviously talks about addiction. He was addicted to drugs, alcohol, and he also nicotine, and then he dealt with, like, depression and, like, self-esteem, just, like, how he viewed himself, and, like, abandonment issues. Like, he really went through a lot. So if you were someone who deals with things, I would definitely look up trigger warnings before going into his book, because I think it could be really hard for some people. But yeah, I'm glad I finally read it, and I still really enjoy memoirs, especially, like, listening to them, like, hearing his voice. And it's like you can, like, read his voice into the words, like, you know, like, he was a really funny person. And you can hear his humor when you, like, read the words, but it is different, like, hearing his inflections. And yeah, I really liked it. I don't rate audio, no. I mean, I don't rate audiobooks normally, but I also don't rate nonfiction, because I don't think it's fair to rate someone's story. But I thought it was really good. And yeah, you should read it if you can. But yeah, so that one's done. And then I started reading The Blade Itself, which was the audiobook pick from Casey's Audible library. And I don't like it. I don't like the voice of it. I feel like if I play you some, it's not... I listen on a fast speed.
Chapter 1. The Survivors. The lapping of water in his ears. That was the first thing. The lapping of water, the rustling of trees, the odd click and twitter of a bird. Logan opened his eyes a crack.
And I'm only listening to it on 1.2, so it's not actually that fast at all. But I just don't like accents when reading. And it definitely depends on the kind of accent, but that's like a putting on a show kind of accent. Like, it's clearly like he's telling a fantasy story kind of accent. And I read, I went back to the beginning, so there was no chance of spoilers. But I read that first section, which was 7 minutes, and I started on the next section, and I think I was like 10 minutes into that. I don't know a single thing I read at all. Like, I literally could not tell you what I read. Yeah, Casey had said earlier this week that he wanted to buy a physical copy of the book because he doesn't have one, and he wanted to reread it as a physical book. And so he went to a used bookstore and couldn't find it. So I'm hoping at some point this weekend we can go to Barnes & Noble and get a physical copy. And I'm going to ask him if I can read it first, because I will not be able to get through the audiobook. Like, I could play it, but I would not retain a single thing I'm listening to. So that's that update, which leaves one more book. And that is the fiction pick from my shelves, which she picked Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. I started it last night, actually the night before, and I read the, like, foreword and the, not the foreword, I read the author's note, and then I'm guessing it's a prologue, but it doesn't say prologue, it just says 17 years ago. I forgot that this was a sequel to Out on the Limb. This follows the, like, best friends of the people in Out on the Limb. And yeah, so I forgot about that. So now I'm even more excited because I'm hoping that the people from Out on the Limb are featured in this book because I really liked them. But basically this book follows, this is what I'm getting from the back of the book and the author's note. This book follows a couple who met in high school. So they have been together, like, over half their lives. Yeah, so they've been together since then. They got married. Like they've spent their like entire adolescent and adult lives together. And so this book, from what I remember the last time I read the back of it, is them trying to kind of like save their marriage and like find who they are as people and learn how to grow together, because I think they're just struggling with that. Yeah, so they're just trying to like, they're scared their relationship's falling apart, so they decide to join a grueling hiking trip intended to guide couples through rough patches. If I had to go on a hiking trip with my boyfriend, that would be the end of our relationship. Like, I would turn into a terrible, terrible person because I do not like the outside, and I would just be too much to handle. Like, that would be the end of us. But good luck to them. I assume, I don't know. I assume they end up together because it's a romance book. But, anyway, I have a little bit of time before I have to start working. So I'm going to read a little bit. And yeah, I probably won't update again today. So I did it again. I finished another book without updating the vlog. I'm sorry. In my defense, I did not expect to read the entire thing in one day. So I last updated you on Friday. I read however much I read in like 10 minutes on Friday. And then I read the whole rest of the book yesterday on Saturday, and it is now Sunday. And I really thought I was only going to read like half of it and then update it this morning and then read the other half today. But then I read the whole thing. I mean, it's not super long, and I didn't really, I mean, I cleaned yesterday, but other than that, I just like read. So I told you what the book was about. I really liked it. I don't remember if I said, but this is my third book by this author. I read the it's not a prequel, the one that comes before this one. I read that. I really loved it. I read a different book by her, Next of Kin. Didn't really like it. I really liked this one. Not quite as much as I liked Out on a Limb, but yeah, I really liked it. It was very emotional at times with her mom died when she was 19 from ALS. And so it's told in like a dual timeline where you'll get a couple chapters in the present timeline, and then you'll go back and it'll be like 16 years ago, 15 years ago, and it's just like her life with her mom, but also meeting Caleb and how her mom's health declined and then like losing her mom. And then even her in present time, even though it's been 11 years, like she's, I wouldn't say she's still grieving her, but like when you lose a parent, it never really goes away. Okay, like I speak from experience. But so like just anything to do with her mom was like really hard for me to read. And just like her like relationship with Caleb, like what they were going through was also emotional. And there's just like a lot of, like, I was tearing up a lot reading this, and I think some tears even like escaped my eyes while reading this. So it was definitely like an emotional roller coaster. And yeah, it was also just a little bit different kind of a read, because like most romances, you're like seeing the characters meet, you're seeing them fall in love, you know. And like there are cases of like, you know, best like friends to lovers, childhood best friends to lovers, where it's like they already knew each other, but like the romance part is new. Or even like second chance. This was just different because they've been together for so long, and then they're still together, and like they're trying to solve their marriage, but they never broke up. They never even like thought about it really. They were just trying to fix and improve what they had, and that's just like a different take on romance. I think I've never read a book like this before, and yeah, I really liked it. I don't know about a rating. I'm thinking 4.5 because I liked it, and I can't really think of anything I didn't like about it. It's more like it just didn't give me the 5-star feeling. And yeah, read another book. And yeah, later today we're going to Barnes & Noble so Casey can buy a copy of The Blade itself. So I'll be starting that possibly later tonight, possibly another day. I am doing really great for this reading thing this year, and I know I did start it in January technically, but I started the first book 2 weeks ago from today, and I've finished 3 so far, so that's really good considering how big the first book was. I've been reading a lot the past 2 weeks, more than I usually do, at least recently. So that's my update, and I'll update you when we get a copy of The Blade itself and I can start reading that. Okay, I'm here with an update with Prim again. She's chewing on a toy. Sorry for the noise. But, can you tell she's a Velcro dog? I don't know if you can tell from the fact that she's been in every clip of this video. But anyway, I'm here with an update. I don't know how many days or weeks it has been, because today's February 23rd. So this is my update on The Blade itself. I am DNFing it. I just think it's not the right time for this book. I stopped at 68 pages in. I was trying to give it a chance. I was trying to make it to 100, and it was putting me in a book slump because I've been reading this book for, I think, 2 weeks. I do not remember, and I was finding myself, like, anytime I had time to read, I just wasn't reading, and like I wanted to read, but I just didn't want to read this, and so I just wasn't reading for like 2 weeks. And that's just, I don't want to be like in that place. I don't want to be doing that. So I've decided to DNF it. I don't think I dislike the book. I just think I'm not interested in reading it right now. So I would say it's a soft DNF. I think I might revisit it in the future, but I don't know. And I couldn't even really tell you what this book is about. I'm 68 pages into it, and I still haven't met all the points of view yet. So, like, the story hasn't even really started yet. That's why I kind of feel bad giving up so soon. Because Casey started rereading it, too, as an audiobook since I was reading it physically. And I was like, I wasn't reading much. And he was like, oh, so you don't like it? And like, obviously I can't answer him. And I was like, I don't even think I've gotten to all the points of view yet. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't tell you what I think. And he was like, sure you have. And then he comes back a day later and he's like, oh yeah, there's like 5 or 6 points of view. And I was like, yeah, I've gotten to 3. So yeah, I don't really know what's happening. 2 of the points of view have met each other, but the third one's like out in the wilderness. So I don't really know how he connects to the other 2. And I still don't really know what the plot is. I've read the synopsis genuinely like 5 times, and I just don't really understand it, and I haven't really gotten it from the book. Like, I know what I've read so far, but I don't understand the plot. And so yeah, I just think it's not a good time for me to be reading this right now, and it's such a like a large book that like it was really putting me in a book slump, so I decided to stop reading it. And I did tell Casey that I wasn't finishing it, and that I would explain it when we filmed our video together, which we were going to do over the weekend, but he wasn't feeling well, so we're doing it next weekend. So he'll just have to wait a whole nother week to know why I'm not finishing the book. But yeah, so that's the end of the video. I did read Leviathan Wakes, Matthew Perry's memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, and Out of the Woods. So I did read all of these, and I DNF'd this one. So that is the end of the vlog. but you should stay tuned for the video that I'm going to film with Casey of him guessing my ratings and reviews, and then me revealing to him what I thought. Because overall, of the ones I read, you know, I really like them. I gave this one 4.5 stars, and I really enjoyed Matthew Perry's. I just don't rate memoirs, so like these were overall really good. It just DNF that one. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for another video, and yeah, bye.